No one remembered the first time humanity met another intelligence. That was the most terrifying part of the revelation. It was not erased by war or sabotage or some ancient enemy reaching backward through time. It was filed, categorized, encrypted, and buried by human hands. The Galactic Archives did not open with an explosion or a warning siren. They opened quietly, like a forgotten door in a long abandoned corridor. A junior archivist on Lunar Station noticed the anomaly first. A block of pre-expansion era data began to self-decrypt without authorization. No override code, no active request, just a cascade of permissions unfolding as if the system itself had decided it was time. At first the files looked harmless. Astronomical surveys, early deep space telemetry, outdated propulsion logs. Then came the heading that made the archivist's hands stop moving. First contact event, classified, global memory suppression authorized. The phrase had no legal standing in modern law. Global memory suppression was a myth, a conspiracy theory from the age of fear. Yet the authorization tags were authentic. Every governing body from the old Earth nations had signed it. Every signature dated the same day. The day humanity screamed into the dark, and the dark answered back. Dr. Ilya Rourke was asleep when the call came in. She dreamed of static and voices overlapping, languages she almost understood. Her implant chimed softly, pulling her out of the dream. By the time she focused her eyes, the secure channel was already open. The director of the Galactic Historical Council stared back at her, pale and shaken. "We found it," he said. "Found what?" Ilya asked, already sitting up. "The first contact files, all of them, they're unsealing themselves." Ilya did not answer right away. She had dedicated her life to proving first contact had happened earlier than officially recorded. Every theory dismissed, every paper buried under ridicule. Now the impossible was sitting in her living quarters waiting to be read. "Send everything," she said. "I'm on my way." The shuttle ride to Lunar Station felt longer than any jump she had ever taken. Outside the view, Earth hung below like a silent witness. So much history, so many lies layered on top of one another. When Ilya entered the archive chamber, the air felt wrong, not colder or hotter, just heavy, as if the room itself remembered what was about to be revealed. The data stream projected into the center of the chamber, not text first, but audio, a recording older than any surviving broadcast network, labeled simply, Day Zero. The sound began with laughter, nervous, excited, human, then a voice, mission control, cadence, tight with awe, signal confirmed, origin not solar, repeating pattern detected. The pattern resolved into sound, a harmonic structure no human language used, yet undeniably deliberate, not random noise, not a natural phenomenon, a greeting. Cheers erupted in the background of the recording. Someone cried, someone whispered, "My God." For 6 minutes humanity listened to the voice of another mind, and then the reply was sent. A simple message, mathematically elegant, emotionally naive. "We are here, we wish to learn." The response came immediately, no delay, no hesitation, as if the sender had been waiting right at the edge of perception. The harmonic voice shifted, deepened, layered over itself, and then the instruments began to fail. Ilya leaned closer as error logs scrolled beside the audio. Radiation spikes, temporal distortion, localized gravitational shear, impossible effects originating from a signal. Mission control voices rose in panic. They're inside the signal. One technician shouted, "It's not just data, it's doing something." The harmonics sharpened. The sound became pressure. Several crew members screamed, not in fear, but in pain. Neural overload warnings flared across the logs. Then came the words, not translated, not decoded, spoken directly into human cognition, bypassing language entirely. "We hear you, we see you, you should not have called." The recording cut abruptly. Silence filled the chamber, broken only by the low hum of the archive systems. Ilya realized she was holding her breath. They didn't just respond, she whispered. They reached through. The next file opened on its own. Casualty report. Not numbers, not charts, but medical scans. Every human directly monitoring the signal suffered catastrophic neural trauma. Some died instantly. Others survived long enough to describe visions. Vast structures folded inside higher dimensions. Intelligences that did not occupy space so much as observe it. A civilization older than stars, startled by a whisper from something that barely existed. One phrase appeared again and again in the survivor testimonies, like insects learning to shout, The council director spoke quietly. We buried it. We wiped public memory, dismantled the research programs, rewrote the timelines. We convinced ourselves it was a false alarm. Why? Ilya asked, though she already knew. Because they answered back again, he said, and the second time, they were not surprised. The archive lights dimmed as a final file unlocked. A prediction model generated by pre-expansion AI, now flagged as terrifyingly accurate. Contact initiated, observation confirmed. Estimated response time, unknown. Survival probability, declining. At the bottom of the projection, a new line of text began to type itself, not pulled from the past, but generated in real time. Archives accessed. Memory barrier degraded. Hello again. Ilya stepped back as the room filled with harmonic resonance, not from the speakers, but from everywhere at once. From the walls, the air, her own thoughts. They had not forgotten humanity. They had been waiting for humanity to remember. And somewhere far beyond the edge of mapped reality, something vast turned its attention back, toward the noise it once tried to ignore. The harmonic presence did not fade when the archive chamber powered down. It lingered like a pressure behind the eyes. Ilya felt it threading through her thoughts. Not intrusive, not violent, just present. As if something unimaginably distant had leaned closer to listen. Security teams flooded the chamber, weapons raised out of instinct rather than reason. No alarms were sounding, no breach detected, yet every sensor registered anomalies it had no language to describe. Subdimensional fluctuations, probability drift, causality, noise. The council director swallowed hard. It's doing this without ships, without probes, he said, just awareness. The words typing themselves into the archive projection continued, each character appearing with deliberate patience. You remembered. That is unusual. Ilya stepped forward before anyone could stop her. She did not know why. Perhaps curiosity, perhaps defiance, perhaps the same instinct that had driven humanity to shout into the dark the first time. We didn't mean to forget, she said aloud. Her voice echoed thinly in the vast chamber. We were afraid. The harmonic resonance shifted. Not louder, but richer, layered with something that felt disturbingly like amusement. Fear is consistent. Memory suppression was efficient. Your kind learns quickly when pain is immediate. The archivist consoles began flashing warnings. Unauthorized cognitive interface detected. Direct semantic injection in progress. Ilya gasped as images flooded her mind. Not visions imposed, but perspectives offered. A view of the universe not as space and time, but as overlapping currents. Civilizations glowing briefly like sparks before fading back into silence. The entity spoke without sound. We are not conquerors. We are not explorers. We are archivists of emergence. Ilya understood with a sickening clarity. They did not travel the galaxy. They observed it from outside, waiting for intelligence to reach a specific threshold. The moment it learned how to announce itself, the first signal you sent was not impressive. The presence continued. It was loud, unshielded, naive. It tore through layers your physics had not yet named. It hurt us around Ilya. Several council members collapsed, clutching their heads. Medical drones activated instantly. The presence did not stop, but it did narrow its focus. Pain was not your intention, but consequence does not require intent. The director found his voice again, trembling. Why come back now? He demanded. Why reveal yourselves? The harmonic field pulsed. We did not come back. You reached further. Every jump drive, every folded space corridor, every artificial singularity. You have been knocking on the walls of our archive for centuries. Ilya remembered the expansion charts. Humanity spreading faster than predicted. Colonies thriving in regions thought unstable. Physics bending just enough to allow it. You adjusted the rules, she whispered. Yes. Your probability curve was anomalous. We smoothed it. You called it ingenuity. The realization hit like vertigo. Human progress, the golden age, the impossible survivals, all subtly nudged, not out of kindness, but containment. We were curious. The presence admitted. Curiosity is our flaw. Another file unlocked. Not text, not audio, but simulation. A model of the future branching endlessly. Most paths ended the same way. Humanity expanding unchecked, piercing deeper layers of reality, colliding with structures that could not be moved, triggering cascades that unraveled entire sectors of existence. Ilya felt tears well. So this is a warning, she said. No, this is disclosure. The presence shifted again, heavier now. Warnings imply choice without consequence. You passed that point long ago. The director slammed his fist onto the console. Then why tell us at all? Because you remembered, because memory changes behavior, and because the next phase has already begun. Every screen in the chamber lit up simultaneously. Star maps updating in real time. Regions once dark now glowing with activity. Not ships, not fleets, but awakenings. Other species. Ilya realized. Others who had